أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. We have reached the auspicious month of Ramadan, a month in which the Quran was revealed as a huda guidance to all creation. This month was likened to us by one of our teachers as a huge farm where a farmer tills the soil and prepares the grounds. And this farmer could do one of three things. During this month, he could plant the seeds and then just leave the seeds to die after Ramadan. Or he could plant the seeds and nurture these seeds with water and sufficient sunlight, and the result would be trees bearing wholesome fruits. And this is what we find from the wisdoms of the verse in the Quran. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Allah Ta'ala says to us, we have prescribed fasting for you as we've done for those before you. كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمْ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. And this is the part I'm focusing on. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Perhaps through this month you attain to a heightened sense of consciousness of Allah Ta'ala. It's not a guarantee. لَعَلَّ is used. Perhaps this occurs. And it will happen if we plant the seeds this month and look after those seeds so that we may reap and pluck the fruits of what we have worked for through Allah Ta'ala's mercy and His grace during this month. Before you is the word Ramadan, and this is an extract from the words of the great wali of the awliya, Sayyid Abdul Qadir al-Jailani rahimahullah wa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, in which he often extracts or unearths the wisdoms behind each word by looking at the symbolic nature of each letter. And here he says that Ramadan has 5 letters, and the Ra represents Rida. And one of the purpose or the maqasid of Ramadan is that we strive to attain that Rida Allah, that satisfaction of Allah Ta'ala upon us. It was asked by one of the students of the awliya that he asked him, and it was Junaid al-Baghdadi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu who was asked, "O Shaykh, how do we know, or are there any signs to indicate to us that Allah Ta'ala is pleased with us?" And the response was, if you are pleased with Allah, know that He too is pleased with you. And we have to find it within ourselves to be content with what Allah has granted us in this world, with His qada and His qadr. And through this month, that satisfaction and contentment comes a bit easier, because we know that it's a little sabr in the day for doing without what we usually have to eat and drink. And the result is shukr at night, gratitude, a reminder that for 11 months I could eat and drink every day. Allah Ta'ala is just teaching me a small lesson in being grateful at night and having sabr in the day to appreciate what I'm going to have again the rest of the year, because we quickly forget to appreciate what we have. The second letter is the Mim, and the Mim symbolizes mahabbah, love for Allah and His makhluk, His creation. And it is love which is the foundation of faith, as Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Those of faith, they have love, but not just love, أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. They have intense love for Allah. Love is there for the very foundation upon which Iman, faith, is built. This is a month of increasing love for Allah, love for the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and love for the created order. And one of the purposes of Ramadan is that in addition to being satisfied with Allah's decree, that rida, is to also grow in a loving, compassionate human being. The third dad stands for the Daman of Allah. And Daman means promise, a promise for a mighty reward which the eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and no mind has ever comprehended. And therefore Allah Ta'ala says that fasting, as-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bihi. Fasting is for me unlike any other ibadah, and I will personally reward for it. Because none can see if a person is fasting. Therefore, no one will understand its reward except Allah Ta'ala. The Dad stands for that guarantee and how much tawakkul faith we have to have in that decree of Allah Ta'ala and that promise. The Alif stands for Ulfa, and Ulfa is an intimacy or spiritual proximity with Allah Ta'ala. It's intimate communication and commune with Allah in this month, where our souls are fed and nourished with abstaining from food and water, for we feed our bodies the whole year. This month we get to feed our very ruhs with Quran, with extra adhkar and salah. And that brings about that intimacy, that closeness with Allah Ta'ala, which anyone who fasts will tell you there's a spiritual proximity we feel between us and Allah in this month like no other month. And if we practice on this Ra Rida and the Mim Mahabba and the Dad, the Daman, and the Alif, the Ulfa, then the gift we receive is the Noon, which symbolizes the Noor of Allah Ta'ala. For He is Noor Samawati wal Ard. And that Noor will enter our hearts because our hearts are facing Allah Ta'ala's divine message. It's facing the purposes of what we were created for, to have faith and rida, contentment in His qada and qadr in the ra, to have mahabba, love in our hearts, which is the foundation of faith, which is to rely on Allah Ta'ala and find it in our hearts to be convinced of His promise, His taman, to reward for the good we do, and that intimacy, that closeness with Allah through that ulfa. Allah Ta'ala allows our hearts to face His infinite and eternal attributes, sifat, and we acquire that noor from the noon of Ramadan. And these are some of the hikmah, the wisdoms which the awliya and the salihin have left behind for us, and may we reap the rewards in the light and noor of Ramadan. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.